In the spirit of reconciliation, I acknowledge the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea and community. I pay my respects to their elders, past and present, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Island peoples today. Welcome to Totally Lit, the podcast celebrating reading, writing and creating literature. I'm your host, Ky Garvey. Thank you for listening. Gabriella Page, welcome to Totally Lit.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
You are beaming across the world from Italy. I feel that this is super exciting. I feel like I'm traveling across the world with you.
Yeah, suppose, yeah.
Now, usually you're in Western Australia, is that right? But you've been living in Italy for a number of years?
Yeah, I've been living here for quite a long time, but I'm originally from Perth. And yeah, I moved to Italy when I was 21. And I'm not going to tell you how old I am now, but I've been here for a fair amount of years.
And you're also an opera chorister. Is being in Italy connected to that part of your life?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was sort of the reason that I came over here in the first place. As an opera singer, we always have to sing in Italian. So I was learning Italian when I was living in Perth, and I kind of knew that I wanted to come over at least for 6 months to a year to be able to practice that and to learn Italian properly, I suppose. I also wanted to come over here to study. So I did my bachelor's degree in Australia, and then I came over here hoping to audition for a master's program, and luckily got in, and so I studied here as well and ended up staying because I found work and found a husband. So
Oh, wow. Italy has been good for you.
yes, Italy's treated me pretty well. I can't complain.
Now, we're chatting today about your book that's coming out called The Nardi Puzzle, it's
Yeah.
through Wombat Books under their Rusa Edge press. Is any of this book inspired by some of your experiences in Italy?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I mean it's a mystery novel, and I'm not sure. Should I talk to you a little bit about what the book's about before I
Yeah,
delve into
tell us,
the
because I'm excited because it's got puzzles in it,
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
international flavour. Tell me all about it.
Yeah, okay. So it's a mystery novel for middle to upper primary students. The book centers around 12-year-old Sebastian Walker, a middle child who's been having a bit of a hard time since his parents split up. He hardly gets to see his dad anymore, and he feels like he's always walking on eggshells around his mum. And I guess to make matters worse too, his two older brothers have been sort of videoing his lowest moments and posting them online. So Sebastian finds solace in video games, particularly those created by the legendary Italian game maker Elisabetta Nardi. He's obviously thrilled when Ms. Nardi invites him to the launch party of her newest game, which is going to be held in her Italian mansion.
Oh, exciting.
So yeah, when he arrives, he learns that his host has planned more than just a party. He and the other 12 guests are thrust into this 13-hour escape game. So they're basically locked in a part of her mansion, which is called the East Wing, and are told that the first person to find the secret exit is going to win like a life-changing prize. So Sebastian joins forces with the bubbly Lali, who's from India, and the brilliant Vita, who's Italian, to solve the clues hidden around the East Wing and then to find the secret exit. So yes, that's basically the novel.
That
Don't want
sounds
to
like
give.
a great story. Can you tell me a bit about what made you write the book in terms of, because you are overseas
Yeah.
singing and living an amazing life. What prompted you to decide I'm going to write a book?
I mean, this wasn't the first manuscript that I've ever written.
So you've been wanting to write and get
I've
published
been
for a while.
I've been writing for quite a while. I've like most writers, I've been writing, for as long as I can remember, but I really started to seriously think about writing novels back in, must have been 2017. And since then, I have written I guess I think I'm on to manuscript number 8 or 9. I've actually lost track.
Wow.
Yeah, most of them were just manuscripts that I wrote for myself, and never queried or never let anyone else read because they weren't ready.
Just tell me your pathway to publication.
Okay. So, yeah, the Nardi Puzzle is probably the 7th manuscript that I ever wrote. Most of the previous manuscripts are just sitting on my computer and nobody's ever going to read them. No one's allowed to read them. But yeah, so I guess my pathway to publication really properly began back in 2022 when I was selected to receive one of the ASA's award mentorships.
Oh,
Um,
wonderful.
yeah, that was actually with a different manuscript,
Mhm.
but it was sort of the first time in my life that I'd received any real confirmation that I was on the right path, I suppose. I'd never really I mean, being in Italy as well, it's kind of hard to engage with the writing community, so I was sort of writing in a vacuum.
Yeah.
And yeah, don't know, I can't remember how I even found out that they were asking for submissions for the ASA Award Mentorship Program, but
Mhm.
I somehow did, and I entered that with another manuscript and luckily got selected. So, yeah, after working with my mentor on that manuscript, I I guess I queried a few agents and then decided that I wanted to rewrite the manuscript because even like the middle grade market was sort of changing.
Mm.
This was back in, yeah, just post COVID. And the manuscript was like, I think it was 75,000 words long, it ended up being. And so I thought, I wasn't ready to pitch that to publishers, but I mean, doing the mentorship program definitely gave me the confidence to start interacting more with the writing community and to start thinking about actually approaching publishers with the Nardi Puzzle, which was actually the first manuscript that I ever sent to publishers. So it gave me, I guess, more than anything, just confidence and belief that I could actually do this.
It is a scary thing when you first start writing and those first times you have to share with someone else and you don't know what
Yeah.
the reaction will be.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
obtaining
It's
a
terrifying.
mentorship like that is a really good hint that you're on the right track.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
how did you find that experience? Was it enjoyable working with a mentor?
Yeah, I loved it. It was really tough in the beginning though, because I mean, I don't know how much, I don't want to trauma dump or anything, but back in 2022, I lost my mum.
Oh, I'm sorry
And
to hear that.
yeah, and the day that the winners were announced was actually, I was in Perth because it was the day that my siblings and I were going to scatter my mum's ashes.
Oh,
So
a big day.
yeah, it was terrible timing. So, I sort of
How
had like the worst.
emotional.
Yeah, I can't tell you how I felt that day because, I woke up thinking, okay, no, I've got to go and scatter my mom's ashes. And then I
Yeah.
checked my emails and I saw that I'd won, a mentorship, which I hadn't expected at all. I didn't even think that my application had gone through.
Mm.
And
Bit of a roller coaster all in one
it
day.
was, yeah, it was unbelievable. I mean, I remember sitting in a cafe with my other parent just talking about, I was crying about mum and then crying about how happy I was that I had won
Mm.
this mentorship, and then, she would never know that
Yeah.
that had happened. And yeah, it was emotional. And so the beginning of the mentorship was really hard for me. It took me several months to actually be able to write again
Mm.
after I lost my mum. And so I guess I was lucky that my mentor was so busy to begin with. Yeah. Because there was just I had no way of actually contributing or doing anything. I was an absolute mess.
Needed
But
to
yeah,
recover. Like, it's a lot
yeah,
to lose
absolutely.
someone you love.
Yeah, it was tough, but then, I got my feedback from my mentor, and then things sort of started picking up from September, and it was an incredible experience. And like I said, it helped me most of all to sort of believe in myself and to believe that I could do this because I
Yes.
hadn't really received much confirmation before. Yeah.
And I guess just touching on your studies, were your studies in music or were you doing studies related to literature?
No, I studied music. So I've got, yeah, I studied classical music, in particular
So
classical singing.
your writing has been your own like side hustle for a little while
Yeah.
until
It,
now it's becoming a
yeah.
published book, which is amazing. But
Yeah, which I never expected. I mean, I think when we all begin, I mean, you can probably confirm this, but when you start writing, you write for yourself and
mhm.
you write because it maybe it brings you joy or happiness. I don't know. You don't really, I don't think anyone really goes into it expecting that they're going to be published. So yeah, for
The
that to
dream.
actually happen, yeah, it's a dream, but it's sort of a dream that seems a little out of reach.
How have
But
you found ways to stay connected to the Australian writing community? Has that been challenging, or have you found the magic of the internet has been very helpful?
the internet has been helpful, definitely. I don't know if I really feel very connected to the Australian writing industry. I
Mm,
mean, I've got an Instagram account, but I do often feel like I'm sort of on the outside looking in because,
mm.
you see so many people who have already made these incredible connections and people talk about their writer friends. People always get to go to book launches and things. And, I guess I'm missing out on all of that. But I'm trying to engage with people on my Instagram account. I'm trying.
I'll have to
it's,
do
it's
a
not
shout
always
out to all the
easy. Yeah.
Aussie Kidlit community and say, follow Gabby on Instagram so she can feel like
Yeah.
she's connected with us.
She needs friends. She needs writerly friends. That's what she needs.
It is hard.
Yeah.
I find I've got a full-time job and I've got a family, and so I do get to events, but I don't feel I can be at everything. And there's times even when I'm in the same city as many of my fellow authors, I feel like, oh, I missed that. Oh, I didn't get to be there, and oh, those people
Mhm.
have done that. And I'm like, oh, how do you stay connected when sometimes it's not a physical distance, but it can be just time related when you can't
Yeah,
be at everything. It,
absolutely.
I think Instagram and the socials are really helpful in some ways. But then in other
Yeah.
ways, it's like, oh, look at all the things I can't be at.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, yeah. You do
And there's
feel like you're
sometimes I
missing out
just
on a
find
lot.
everybody's posting like bang, bang, bang. And I'm like, I don't have time to read the posts. I don't have the time to create my posts. A lot.
Yeah, it sucks up a lot of time. I mean,
Mm.
I have never really been on socials much at all. I mean, I only created an Instagram account when I signed with Wombat Books. I've been really shy about putting myself out there on the internet as well because I guess, when you're not a published writer, you think, "Oh, what have I really got to contribute?" Um,
Yes, there is that little bit of feeling of imposter syndrome when you're first starting out.
exactly.
It's like, oh, what do I have to give when, some people have a back catalogue of 40 books. Like,
Yeah,
I'm,
absolutely.
I'm just trying to get one published.
Yeah, it's like, well, I guess there's also this feeling of like, who really cares about what you're doing until you publish, and
Mm.
it's not the way to think, but there is that feeling. So I didn't really put myself out there much before, and yeah,
Now you can, but I was going
now
to
I
say, how far away are you situated from Bologna in Italy?
it yeah, it's about an hour's plane trip away,
Because that
an hour's flight.
every year there's a big kidlit event there,
Oh yeah,
and the Australian authors fly over there. So maybe that would be a chance for you to connect with some. Maybe we can make that happen for next year.
yeah. Well, I was hoping to make it happen this year actually, and I just couldn't get the time off work.
Mm,
Unfortunately, I was doing an opera at the time, and it just the event just coincided with, times that I was supposed to be on stage, and there was just no way that they were going to give me time off for that. So yeah, I was really, really disappointed about that. I'd been, really hyped up and excited
Yeah,
about,
that would
the
be
idea of
exciting.
finally going. Yeah. I just haven't been able to go yet, but it's sad because it's only, an hour away. And for me not to be there, and I saw, everybody was posting on Instagram all the pictures of
It
Bologna, and
looks
I was
so
like,
fun.
yeah, it's incredible, and you see, so many illustrators and writers together, and it's just like, oh, I really want to be a part of that, but didn't happen this year. Hopefully, it'll work out next time. But
2027.
yeah, holding out for 2027. We'll
Are
see.
there any local writing communities that you can connect to where you're living now?
There's an English book club, and
Mhm.
there are some writers that are part of that. The only thing is that they meet on Friday evenings, and it's really hard for me to get there on
Mm,
Friday evenings. So, I mean, I went to a few meetings, and then I just sort of dropped off because I couldn't go consistently.
yeah,
There are plenty of, like, Italian writers, so
yep.
people writing in Italian, but I mean, I speak Italian on a daily basis. I work in Italian, and that's, that's fine. The only thing is that it's sort of hard for me to be part of those Italian writing groups because, I mean, when they're all writing in the same language and my books are in English, I sort of feel like,
Mm.
you don't belong here. So,
Oh,
yeah.
what you need to find like a group that just gets together socially, like that just
Yeah.
has a coffee together and they are all writers, but you're not actually sitting writing together at the time, just so you can
Yeah.
feel part of the community. That would be lovely. I feel
Yeah,
like
that
I
would.
want to fly over and go, how can we connect you with some local people
Yeah.
as well?
Oh, this is horrible. We've spent 20 minutes talking about how lonely I am.
Oh no. Well, it's interesting. I think we're living in the age of loneliness, and it's, yeah, an interesting thing that you can be surrounded by people but still feel very isolated.
Yeah.
It's a bit sad, really. Uh,
Yeah, although I
We
have to
just
say,
took a turn.
we did.
We've gone dark.
We've gone really dark, but that doesn't surprise me. I don't know. That happens with me a lot. I don't know. No, I was gonna say people often blame social media for I
Mm,
guess putting wedges between people and creating distance, and I guess, in some respect that is true. But for me, I mean, that's sort of like my lifeline.
yes.
Like, that's
Yeah.
the only way that I've got to connect with the Australian book community. So, yes.
Yeah, that's how I often feel. I've just had a hip replacement, even though I'm not that old. So I've spent
Mhm.
the last 3 months mainly at home,
Wow.
and it is really difficult. You're watching all the launches happening and all your lovely friends that you want to support them, and you can't be there. And then there's
Yeah.
also a feeling of, oh, if I'm not there, will I just disappear and no one will
Yeah.
notice that I'm gone?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh,
Very interesting
goodness.
to be like, oh, okay, physically I can't be around. I am
Yeah.
seeing everybody having lots of fun. It feels a little bit sad.
Yeah.
And,
I know how
but
you feel.
yeah, it is just what it is though, in
Yeah.
terms of I'm meant to be resting and looking after myself, although I've been recording podcasts the whole time. I've been recovering.
Yeah.
The only criteria was that I was like, I'm not recording while I'm taking endone because they might get
Right.
weird and wacky.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it sounds like there's a little bit of a challenge balancing your musical career alongside your writing career. Have you found any ways to, like, it's it does sound like if you're working, you can't be writing. Have you found ways around that at all?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm lucky in the respect that as a singer, you can't actually work 8 hours a day. You can't sing for
Mm,
8 hours a day. So, I mean, in the theater, I work either 6 or 7 days a week, but those are fairly short days. So, most of the time, I'm working between 3 and 5 hours.
mm,
So I'm lucky to be doing a job that gives me a lot of time to write.
Yeah.
But I guess it's hard when it comes to organizing things, even just like I'll be coming back to Australia to launch my book. And I could only do that in the like 3 weeks that I've got holidays. So I'll be
Right.
coming like summer holidays, and yeah, I'll be coming over then. And so I have to sort of plan everything around my work.
Yeah.
I would love to just be able to come back to Australia whenever I feel like
Yes.
it, but I can't really. So yeah,
And what
that's
about
yeah,
the I imagine that the performing takes a bit out of you, like
yeah,
physically and emotionally. How do
definitely.
you, I guess, decompress and separate, like come home and relax and then start writing? Is there any issue with that, or is it easy for you to be able to separate the two different art forms?
I think I love writing so much that I can write pretty much anywhere. I can also write at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, and that's not an issue for me. Yeah, I think the hardest thing is when I've got shows that, I might finish in the theater at like midnight,
Mm,
and get home at sort of, midnight, or, just after midnight. And then, you're not ready to go to bed straight away
yeah.
because of the adrenaline that you've got from the show. So, some nights I won't go to bed until like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And then even if you do get 8 hours sleep, the day after you're sort of in an odd sort of mental
Mm,
space. You don't feel particularly connected to the world. You know what it's like when you go to bed too late.
yep.
That makes writing a little bit harder. But to decompress, reading, absolutely.
Yep.
I
Mhm.
definitely it's something that really helps me. I mean, I read every night before I go to bed, whether I've got a show on or not. And that just helps me to relax. Sometimes not relax because sometimes, I'll be reading like a thriller and and not be able to put it down, so but yeah.
Have you got a
Yeah.
favorite style of book that you like to read?
I think I go through phases. I don't
Mm,
know if that's common to a lot of people, but, I had a phase where I was only reading Dickens for, like, a year.
mm,
But I guess nowadays, I don't know, I read a bit of everything. It depends on my mood. I read a lot of middle grade, obviously, because that's what I write, and I really connect to middle grade. I do read a lot of like adult thrillers, psychological thrillers, especially.
yep.
That's something that I'm really into. But yeah,
Mm.
it's kind of hard to say like a favorite.
I think reading all the time is really good to, yeah, change your mood, transport you to a different place for a little while, but also it informs your writing as well, the more that you're reading, I think, and especially if
Absolutely.
you're reading like quality works, because you start to be able to write like what you're reading as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think at the very beginning, I mean, you really do try to imitate the writers that you're reading. I
Yes.
mean, when I went through that Dickens phase, I when I started writing, when I was writing my own books, like I kind of I let the Dickens influence really uh, yeah, really, really take over. And, rereading those now, it's cringe worthy. It's absolutely awful.
Sometimes I
But
look back at things and go, "Oh dear, what were you thinking?"
what was I thinking? I was really trying to emulate Dickens at the time, and, this was quite a few years ago now. But yeah, you do try to take on little bits and pieces. I think for me, especially, like, when I read, I'll often take note of, like, ways that writers express emotions through, like, body language,
Yep.
the way that the character's body language and things. So I'll pick up on those things and then try to do something similar, I guess, when I'm writing my own novels.
Does any of your work get influenced by your musical career as well? Like in terms of, because you would have had to do a little bit of, I guess, learning how to perform and act on stage while you're singing. Does that
Yeah,
ever inform how you're setting scenes and things like that?
definitely. I mean, when I was studying, we had to do acting lessons,
Yep.
and a lot of that was how to really delve into a character, how to get really deep inside a person, and I guess that really that informs the way that I create my characters now. Definitely, that's had a big influence on that. In terms of the actual influence of music in my books, I mean, the Nardi Puzzle. I don't really want to spoil anything, but yeah, there are references to classical music and things. I mean, the puzzles are set out in such a way that they often draw on things that I find really fascinating. So
Mhm.
history and art and mathematical concepts and things. So yeah, classical music somehow made its way into the Nardi puzzle as well.
And constructing
Not so
those
much.
puzzles, did you need to do some research, or did you create those puzzles just from your imagination? Were there times when things weren't quite working or fitting together the way you wanted with creating those in the book?
I actually found it relatively easy to create the puzzle, but I'd done a lot of research beforehand. And a lot of that research was, I wanted to create an escape game. I mean, the Nardi puzzle is it centers around an escape game.
Mm.
And so I was looking up the different types of puzzles that you can find in escape games. So things like sound puzzles or puzzles that you can only do if you're in a group, for example, like teamwork puzzles and things. So I was sort of conscious of wanting to include those sorts of things in the actual escape game that I created. So yeah, there was a lot of research involved. But I mean, once I'd sort of set out the main puzzles and I'd sort of decided which clues are going to be in which room, because there are several different rooms in the East Wing, which contain clues that the characters need to find. Yeah, once I'd sort of jotted that down, it was easy to write it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And did you use any tools, or how did you keep track of your, I guess, did you map out how the puzzles would work?
Yeah.
Did you use Excel or something like that
Yeah,
to
no,
make
no,
sure you
definitely
had
didn't.
kept track of it all?
Yeah, no. Oh, that's really funny, actually. I was listening to the podcast with Rachel Jackson
Yes,
the
she
other
says
day.
her book is
Yeah, and
around puzzles as well.
yeah, exactly. So that was a really interesting listen, and she was talking about using spreadsheets and things.
Mm,
Yeah, I didn't use any spreadsheets at all. I guess, yeah, I just use Microsoft Word.
yep.
Um,
Mhm.
but I am a really, like, hardcore plotter.
Okay.
So, I mean, even before writing the Nardi puzzle, I think I'd written about 20,000 words of just planning,
Mhm.
making sure that I knew exactly what was gonna happen in every scene, exactly which clues the characters find when. I mean, that was all laid out in Microsoft Word. Yeah. I know a lot
And
of a lot of people use Scrivener and things. I've never tried it because I just think it's, possibly too complicated. I don't know.
it's
Possibly this way.
sometimes I wonder if you can overplan and overthink. I live my whole life in my head. Everything is in my head, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna get caught out. Use a calendar. My husband's always like, "We got the group calendar. Use."
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the thing is, I don't know if it's the same for you, but I'm exceptionally organized in my work life, and then I'm an absolute mess everywhere else. So
Yeah, I'm a disaster. I fly by the seat of my pants all
disaster.
the time. So I'm like, I don't know
Absolutely.
how all this is happening a lot of the time.
No. Yeah, just forgetting things. I forget really important things, but then I'll remember really specific details from books and things. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting how our brains work.
Yeah, or how they don't work. I
Often mine does
definitely
not
feel
work.
like mine doesn't work half the time either. You're not alone there.
I was going to ask you another question and it's popped out of my brain. How ironic, considering what we're talking about.
Yeah, you
Oh,
should
I
have written it
remember now.
down.
With the puzzles that you created, did you
Yeah.
have to think about the age group that you were writing for, in terms of whether there anything that you had to think, would this age group be able to figure out this puzzle, or were you thinking, oh, these kids are amazing and very intelligent, I can challenge them a little bit?
I guess a bit of both. I mean, I always had it in the back of my mind that I wanted kids to be able to sort of play the escape game alongside the protagonists. So the puzzles couldn't be so challenging that, they just kids stopped reading because they thought, this is just too hard.
Yeah.
That being though, I really believe that kids are smarter than we give them credit for a lot of the time.
Yes.
I really do feel that way. So I think I hope at least that the puzzles are challenging enough to be interesting, but not so challenging that people will just, close the book and
Yeah, or
then
know to put the book down.
yeah.
Um, but I think to people, like, if you love a puzzle and you love a challenge, like, you're immediately attracted to picking up that style of book.
Yeah.
Whereas if you are not wanting to be challenged in that way, that wouldn't be the book for you. And I think that is the same with all of us when we're picking up a book to read. We know which ones we want to read and which ones we don't want to read.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
and there's nothing wrong with our passions and interests. Like, if somebody does want to read something that's a light, fun read, that's okay. At least they're reading.
Yeah.
But then also there's others who love to get deep into a challenging book and feel like they
Yeah.
can solve those puzzles as they're going along.
Yeah.
So it's probably good to, I guess, respect your readers and invite to the challenge, I guess. So,
Yeah, definitely. Although I do
so
hope that the book caters for different types of readers as well. So, the ones that really want to, you know, do the challenges and also kids that just want a fast-paced, fun read because there's a lot of there's a lot of humor, I guess, in the books
yeah.
and a lot of fun as well. So it's not just serious puzzles.
Mm.
Um, yeah, so I'm hoping that it caters for both types of readers. We'll see, I don't know.
Once it's launched, you'll find out.
I'll find out one way or another.
Have you had any ARC readers or anyone giving you, have anyone reading in advance to let you know what they think?
I mean, to be completely honest, I don't know. I had beta readers.
Yep.
So, yeah, they gave me a lot of feedback, and then obviously the people within the, Wombat Books.
Yes.
But I don't really know if ARCs have been sent out. I'm not sure. I really don't know. Sorry.
Kind of a weird world when you're the lead up to publication, in that it's like, oh, I don't know what's happening. Do they
I
remember
I
to
have
tell
no
the
idea.
author?
And I'm also really conscious of, I don't wanna be that author who is
Mm,
constantly emailing and asking, "Oh, what's going on?" So, I sort of let things slide. But yeah, now that you've asked me, I really don't know. So I hope that review copies have been sent out.
I
Um,
think, though, the biggest indicator that the book is good is that it's got a publishing contract. So,
yeah,
yeah, it's coming out. It's a real thing. I
it
think
exists.
that most publishers are quite shrewd and across the market. So if you've got a contract, you know that, yeah, it's going to be right for your readers.
Hopefully, yeah, and they definitely helped me as well, like, there were some parts of the book that maybe I'd written in a way that was a little bit too complex, so they helped me to sort of tone that down and make sure that everything was working for readers sort of
Yeah.
between the ages of 9 to 12 as well, so they were really good with that.
And do you think it might lead to future publications? Do you think there could be a series?
Yeah, I don't really know. I generally write standalone novels.
Mm. So have you got something else in the works?
Oh, yeah, I always have
Yeah.
something else in the works, yeah, I am I'm constantly writing. I wouldn't know what to do with myself if I wasn't writing. Yeah, so I've got two works in progress that are at various stages of development. So I've just finished the first draft of another middle grade novel of manuscript, and I'm also working concurrently on another middle grade manuscript, which is now on draft number 15.
Number
So
15.
number 15, yeah, it's been long
And
and
are they
arduous.
in similar themes, or do you like to move and shift around with the topics that you're writing on?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I think fundamentally there are always similarities. I mean, I like reading mysteries and I like writing mysteries. So I like the idea of having clues and yeah, in that respect, they're similar, but they're not puzzle books per
Okay.
se. Yeah. So we'll see. I don't know. Uh,
And just because I've never had the opportunity to interview an opera singer before, I'd love to hear what is your favorite role that you have performed in?
I mean, I'm a chorister, so I don't
Mm.
really do solo roles. There's a very specific reason for that. You know, I get really nervous on stage performing as a soloist, and yeah, so I love being part of the
So
chorus.
would it be better for me to ask what is your favorite opera to be part of?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I guess probably Carmen. I don't know if
Mm.
you've ever seen an opera before.
I'm
Carmen
familiar with
is
Carmen. Mm.
You're familiar with Carmen? Yeah.
Yes.
It's got some great music and it's really
Yeah.
fun for the chorus as well. Yeah, definitely.
If I
For
was an opera singer, I'd definitely be part of the chorus as well. I don't think I could
yeah.
be the main protagonist, but
Yeah, I think you have to be a very specific type of person
mm,
to be able to handle the pressure that comes with being a soloist on the operatic stage because it's not I guess I don't know, I've got to be careful with how I word things, but classical music sort of the expectation is perfect. You know, you can't hit a wrong note. You can't, you know, make mistakes in terms of
yes.
oh, you're singing the wrong part here. You know, it's very, very precise.
Mm.
And the audience can be really unforgiving because they really know the opera well. Most people who go to operas are people who are really passionate about it as well.
Mm.
So you have to be able to deal with a lot of stress. And yeah, I learnt quite quite early on that that sort of stress was not for me, but I love classical music and I wanted to be a part of the world, the operatic world. So yeah, being a chorus member is great for that. You know, you get to sing in a group and you get to play dress ups as well. That's a lot of
Yes.
fun. That's one of my
It would
favorite
be
things.
incredible to be, because I love that feeling with music when your heart just kind of soars, when it's just really beautiful. And it must be
Yeah.
such an amazing experience to be like in the middle and
Yes.
surrounded by those singers. So lucky you.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I'm incredibly lucky, especially because it's so hard to find work.
Yes.
So, yeah, it's incredibly hard in all of the arts, I suppose. You know, but just being able to work in the arts is an absolute privilege.
That's
And
so
yeah,
brave
it's
that you've
yeah,
followed a pathway that is difficult to find work in opera, but
yeah,
also like writing. Like most
yeah,
people, when you say, when I grow up, I want to be a writer, they're like, oh,
yeah,
get yourself a day job as well because
yeah,
it is so hard. So you're foraying into two different areas that is challenging, but you're succeeding
yeah.
as well in both those areas. Well done.
Well, I am recently though. I mean, it's taken a long time, a really, really long time for me to get to this point. And even now I don't really have any real stability because, you know, I talk about my work, but I'm not a permanent member of the chorus.
Mm.
I am, I guess, an extra. So, you know, the contract that I've got now ends on the 2nd of July.
Well, that's
You know, I could be called in after that or I could not, you know, I don't really have it's I'm getting relatively steady work, so I'm
mm.
lucky, but I don't know what's gonna happen, you know, in a year's time or 2 years. So, yeah, living with
It's kind of a niche
uncertainty.
talent though. Like there's not
It really
everybody that
is.
can rock up and perform in an opera. So
Yeah. But it's not just yeah, I mean, it's not really it's a talent to a certain degree. I think it's the same with writing as well. I mean, you have to have some sort of innate talent to be able to make it. But I think, you know, talent is only 5% of it, and the other
mhm.
95% of it is just hard work. Yeah. I mean, you know, you'll get, you know, your unicorn writers who kind of just write a book in 2 weeks and then that book gets sold and things. But for most of us, it's years of writing And it's the same with music as well. I started at like university when I was 18 and didn't really get steady opera work until like 2019, 2020, and then COVID happened. So then I was back at home. And then things started picking up again, post COVID. So, it's taken a really long time, and I've done a lot of other random jobs in the meantime. Like when I first came over to Italy, it wasn't like, oh, you're coming over and you just you get into a master's program and then things are fine. I came over and I was an au pair for a year and a half.
To
So,
do what you've got to do to
yeah.
support yourself.
Yeah, well, that's it. I think very few authors have the luxury of, not having to, or just being able to be a full-time author.
No.
I guess that's the dream. But the reality is that we all need to, we need money to keep a roof over our heads. So, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining me. It's been lovely to chat to you, and I've loved that we've been able to explore so many different topics today.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to the release of your book and what it will be coming further with your career.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. It's been great chatting with you.
Is this your first podcast?
Yes.
Hooray! We've got through it. Thank you so much, Gabrielle.
Which is, I was, now that we're at the end of this, I was really nervous about this. So I'm glad that, we've got to the end and I'm still alive.
Be prepared for any more that you do, they're not that bad.
Yeah, they're not that scary, and you're not very scary at all. So for any other authors
I'll take it as a compliment.
Absolutely. For anyone else who wants to come on the podcast, Ky is really lovely.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for listening to Totally Lit, and don't forget to go out into the world to read, write, create, ignite.